Morning everyone, it is New Year's Day 2015 and just a forewarning, this video is graphic. It's going to teach us how to skin and gut a sheep, and then the next video, part 2, will be about butchering up, cutting it into pieces, so for the freezer as well as for edible meal sizes for the family. So I wanted to just touch real quickly on the knives that I use. I use this Outdoor Edge kind of game processor kit, which I really like, and of course it has little things here, but you know, put it on a table and butchering, boning, and fillet. But for this first stage, you're going to be using a skinner. Really nice to be able to grab things and pull it out and sit there and pull the hide or the skin away from the carcass, and that's a really good knife for that. You have your caper that also serves a really important role in this first step. Of course, it comes with a sharpener, and you have this Outdoor Edge saw, which I haven't used obviously yet. This is a brand new kit, but I believe, just looking at the structure, I think that's going to work just fine. And a number of other tools that you'll see me use throughout the next couple of videos. So again, if you're squeamish and you don't want to see a dead animal, especially a skinned animal, do not watch this film.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, we've gone ahead and dispatched our wether. A wether is a castrated male. This one was born in March of 2014, and it's now January 1st, New Year's Day 2015. So dispatch 22 to the head, square between the eyes, then you cut the throat to let the blood drain out as the heart is still pumping for a few seconds to a minute or so after being dispatched. So it's bled out. I have here a wheelbarrow just specifically for this type of stuff, but it helps wheel away the blood, the guts, and things like that, or in essence the discard that you do after dispatching. Let me just show you the first stage here. A lot of people have a T that is then suspended across a beam of some sort, and it helps them pull that up. I haven't bought that yet, so what I did is, come over here real quick, you'll see in between the two, this tendon right here that is technically their back knee, as long as you hook something in there and suspend them up and get the legs separated out, then you're going to be able to do this next step fairly easy. You can see here I've cut just the skin off around it. I'm going to do the same thing on this leg, and then come over to this side. Once you have it done around the legs, you take and you cut down the skin all the way to about this point. Do the same on this side. Then you're going to cut and you're going to pull this spot of skin back this way, and then you're just going to slowly work the hide off. So I guess I'll get to that point and then we'll bring you back in. Okay, we got to the point where we left off in the last segment. Pulled the skin all the way down, and I want to show the technique. You use one of these capers or skinners, and you grab the hide, and as you pull down, you use your knife to help you guide it without disrupting the actual meat or carcass. Okay. Now, so at this point, I always think to myself, man, I've got all of this yet to go, and this has taken me a little while. Really, once you get started here and you get past the rear end, then the rest of it can pull off if you do it right. So what we're going to do next, you can see I went all the way down, pulled it all the way to this side here. You have this. You want to cut the tail off completely, and then you're going to bring the hide all the way off to the head. And then once you get to the head, you cut the head off, and then you pull the entire skin off. And then you'll be left with just the actual carcass left. We'll break off the knees and take the legs off, and that way it's easier to pull the skin or hide off completely, and that's where we'll go to. Okay, we have this wether completely skinned now, except for the legs, which are just going to be, once we're done, going to be cut off, sawed off here and here, and just thrown away. And we did the same thing on this side, as I told you before. We just cut off that, and then the hide comes completely off. It did take me a little while longer than I expected, and I messed up on this leg right here, but anyways, then pulled it all the way off, and now it's in my discard bin. So the next part is the disgusting part. So if this was difficult for you to watch, I wouldn't watch the next segment. What we're going to do is we're going to puncture through without puncturing the intestines and inner organs. And I'm going to take my 2 fingers and I'm going to place it inside of this membrane here, this perineal cavity. And then I'm going to put 2 fingers in like there, and I'm just going to follow my knife all the way down to about the sternum where the rib cage comes together. And then we're going to go in, and we're going to grab all the guts, and we're just going to let them fall right into our discard bin. And then I'll be pulling it all the way out so that it's a clean carcass to be set and aged for a few days. So, here, put my 2 fingers in. This is the urine sac over here. You definitely want to pull that out so that it doesn't get urine all over your meat. Like I just did. No, I did a good job. Yeah, I got a little bit, not bad. Okay, so I'm just detaching a lot of this stuff as it falls out from the backside of this animal here, because it can help it to slowly ease out, and that way you make sure that you're getting it all without getting muck all over your meat. There's the liver right behind here. Try to get your hand behind the liver, detach it, everything follows thereafter. See that liver? Nice and brown. Okay, we're at the tail end here. One thing that you might be wondering is why I cut the side straps off. Mainly because I'm inexperienced with this, but also because this particular wether just had very thin, kind of it really looked like it was more fat than it was good or meat. So I just cut off to the rib cage, followed the rib cage down. And I also have seen a lot of videos in England where the butcher does this first and uses the other stuff for maybe side scraps, or I really don't know. But so this is how I chose to do it this time. My wife and I don't like a lot of the fat, so I'm just going through the tail end here and just taking some of the fat, which on this particular breed of sheep, which is a Katahdin sheep, a hair sheep, has a lot of fat on its back. And so what we do is we just cut it off like that, get rid of it. I'm sure there's a lot of uses for every part of this animal, and indeed I would like to learn over time how to utilize all of it. But right now my simpleton mind tells me just to utilize the leg of lamb, rump roast, tenderloin, back straps, the shoulder, ribs, and get quite a bit of meat to feed my family off of this. I My wife and I don't own a whole lot of land. We live in a cul-de-sac, and we have about 1.2 acres. The nice thing about this land is that it's partitioned really well. It has a pasture, it has a corral, it has a garden area, it has an orchard, it has all these little things that enable us to live like a homestead. Our eventual goal is to, and I'll do a video on this differently to go over all of our particular goals, but in essence what we want to do is purchase land that can sustain a family and do all the things that we're going to be talking about in this series, animal husbandry, gardening, cooking, all sorts of stuff. And so I am just excited to be able to show you how we did this. This is our first wether out of the sheep that we had. We had 4 ewes. Each ewe had twins. We sold 4 of the babies, 2 of the mother ewes, and we just kept one wether to experiment and to grow out and then to slaughter like this. And we know what he ate. We know where he's been. We know how he was treated. He was treated exceptionally well by us. We love our animals, and now we're going to love them in the second part. We're going to eat them. So thank you very much for your time, and take care.